So we have two rational expressions. Rational meaning there's a fraction. And we have to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, the horizontal asymptote, the vertical asymptote, the domain. So how do you find them? We'll start with the x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, you need to set this top piece equal to 0. So 5x minus 6 is equal to 0, and you'll get x is equal to 6/5. You can do that by simply moving the 6 to the other side and then dividing by 5. Okay. To get the y-intercept, you're going to replace x is 0. So plugging in 0, 5 times 0 minus 6 over 4 times 0 minus 9 yields you negative 6 over positive 9, which is negative 2/3. So we have a y-intercept of negative 2/3. We have an x-intercept of 6/5. To get the horizontal asymptote, the horizontal asymptote, the most important thing you can look at is the degree of the largest exponent. So these two. Everything else becomes irrelevant. You're looking at these two exponents. If they're the same, the horizontal asymptote is y equals whatever numbers you have in front. If they're different, if the one on top is bigger, it's none. If the one on the bottom is bigger, it's y equals 0. Okay. In this case, they're both the same, so you choose the numbers out front. Vertical asymptote, you're setting the denominator equal to 0. So you're going to say 4x plus 9 is equal to 0. Again, move that 9 over, you'll get 4x equals negative 9, and x is equal to negative 9/4. That becomes your vertical asymptote. In this case, you must include the x equals. You must include the x equals. If you didn't include the x equals the 6/5, while technically that's wrong, I'd probably still give you credit. No chance I'm giving you credit for the x equals negative 9/4. Okay, you got to have the x for that. Now, what is the domain? Now, it's interesting to me that to start class today, we had a couple problems where I asked you for the horizontal asymptote, the vertical asymptote, the domain, and the range, and we were okay with those. And by we, I mean Landon was. Because evidently everybody else didn't really understand the domain when I wrote that up, but because I drew you the picture, it was a little easier for you to see. Since we're not drawing pictures of these, people are like, domain? Well, the domain is going to be negative infinity to whatever the x-intercept or the vertical asymptote is, negative 9/4, and from negative 9/4 to infinity. Okay. Uno momento. And we'll do B. Now, for B, to find the x-intercept, you got to set what? Top equal to 0. So, probably the first thing you're going to want to do is factor to the top and the bottom. So this is x minus 1, x minus 1. This is x minus 2, x minus 3. That's going to be your first step. You'll want to factor. Okay. Now, to get the x-intercept, set the top piece equal to 0. You get x equals 1. That's the only place where that's equal to 0. You set each of those equal to 0. To find the y-intercept, you plug in x is 0. You can either do that on the factored form or the non-factored form. It doesn't matter. I would probably plug in x is 0 here. And you'll get y equals 1/6. Horizontal asymptote. Look at degrees on top and degree on bottom. If they're the same, it's the coefficients out front. So in this case, that was bad. So in this case, it's y equals 1, since both of these are 1s. Vertical asymptote occurs whenever the denominator is equal to 0. So that's going to give you x equals 2 and x equals 3. The domain is going to be, what is the domain? Negative infinity to 2. 2 to, oh, hell no. Negative infinity to 2. Union 2 to 3. Union 3 to infinity. You got two vertical asymptotes. So on that graph, you actually have 2 vertical asymptotes. One's at 2 and one's at 3. Okay. So you'd have a graph, here, here, and here. Or something to that effect. I haven't graphed it yet, but that's something to that effect. All right. Any questions? Any questions on that? Going once? Going twice?